Hey, Coach Jeff here. Super excited about what I have for you this week. Um, I have some workout videos and a movement enhancement technique to upload, so I'll upload those. But I'm doing this week. I wanted to focus on this. We've done this in the program, and every time we do it, I just realize that it's so beneficial, but I don't program it enough, and I personally haven't done it enough in recent times. And when I did it yesterday, I said, oh, I need to do this more often. So I thought I need to share this with you so that you guys can put this into your practice of being healthy. All right, so that being said, we do foam rolling, we do breath work, we do movement enhancement, corrective exercise, all that stuff. Those are all great things. This specifically is going to target the joints, which will help the other things, okay, and vice versa. So joint mobility, like I said, there's so many different things we can do with joint mobility, so many different movements that we can do. This is one of several routines that I have used over the years and kind of thought of on my own, and got some stuff from other people that I've learned from. But anyway, joint mobility, you're gonna love this. I love it. It's relaxing and your body feels so good when you're done. Now, a couple things I want to say is, if you have a joint condition, it's okay to move the joint as long as you stay in a pain-free range of motion. Don't take yourself to a place where it hurts. Maybe just touch it a little bit. I don't know. Only you can answer that question. But anyway, be careful as always. All right, and as always, we're going to start with our box breathing, or I've been calling it box breathing or 3D breathing. 3D breathing and box breathing actually go hand in hand. Three-dimensional breathing, all that means is we want the rib cage to move up, out, and then posterior, okay? And then the box part is just putting a cadence to it. So we're gonna inhale for 2 seconds. I'm drawing my box. Hold for 2, exhale for 2, and inhale for 2. Or hold before we inhale again. So it's inhale for 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, exhale for 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, and then repeat your box, okay? All right, so after you complete the box breath, and I'll just pop on the floor and show you what that looks like. You should know this by now, but it doesn't hurt to review. This is our preferred position. You can breathe in all kinds of positions, but this is one of them. So inhale, exhale, and you're just 2 second inhale, 2 second exhale, and in between the two you're adding 2 second holds. Now, just for fun of it, I want to show you my shoulder range of motion. I will say I have not foam rolled, I have not done box breathing yet. I have taken my HRV and my recovery score, which was good. So I'm either going to stop at my end range of motion, or I'm going to stop at pain, or it's going to stop at the floor. So here's my right shoulder. Let's do it this way. Oh no, I'm going to stay here. So here's right shoulder, boom, all the way to the floor. Here's my left shoulder. Right there's pain. I can get it to the floor, but I get pain first. I'm not too worried about going past it, because I know my shoulder well enough to know that if I do some breathing and some rolling, I'll get to the floor. That said, I'm not going to roll. I'm going to not even do the breath work. I'm going to go right into joint mobility, and we'll see what joint mobility does for my shoulder range of motion. Okay? So kind of cool. We get to see a little test. All right. So after the box breathing, we're going to do cervical or neck flexion and extension. So it's simply nice and tall. My feet are hip width. I got a slight bend in my knees, and then I'm just going to take my chin to my chest and then look up. Chin to my chest and look up. Nice slow movement. Make sure you're breathing the whole time. Okay, so that's flexion and extension of the cervical spine or neck. All right, cervical rotation, neck rotation. Basically, we're going to look left and right. The one thing you need to be mindful of is compensatory movement. In other words, if I turn and then that's my range of motion, then my body starts to turn too. So that was a compensation. So we don't want that. If all you can do is this, that's all you get. Don't compensate movement because your body will learn that, and that'll be the natural movement pattern. Hopefully when you do this work over time, included with breathing, foam rolling, lacrosse ball work, or regular massage, then that will improve. Okay? All right. So cervical rotation, left and right. I want to imagine, so here's my table. My chin's on the table. I'm keeping it, and it's just going right across the table like that. Because I don't want my chin to drop or nose to look up. So those are all movement compensations. Okay, next is neck or cervical lateral flexion. Basically, all I'm going to do is take my ears towards my shoulders. That's right. That's left. Okay. Again, stay within range of motion. Don't bring your shoulder up. Don't compensate your movement. Just stay nice and tall, nice and neutral. Left, right. And you guys can assess my movement here. I know what feels tight and limited. Okay. So I've had a couple whiplashes, so my neck isn't that great. All right. Next is scapular movement. So we're just kind of going to work down the body, scapular movement. So you can see this, we're going to go shoulder, that is elevation of the scapula. And then when I squeeze the shoulder blades together, that is called retraction. When I press the shoulders down, so I'm going to take my hands and reach for the floor, that is depression. And then when I'm going to bring the shoulder around my upper back and bring the shoulder blades towards the front, you'll see it that way. That is called protraction. So you add the 4 movements. You might have to just practice that, practice a few of those, practice a few depressions, and then protraction. And then you can add them all together, and then it looks like you're doing a rotation or a circle. And then I would do both directions. The easiest way to do this is just time it. Do a minute on each movement. Okay? So that's scapular depression, elevation, protraction, and retraction. Then we're going to do joint, the shoulder joint. It's called circumduction, but we call it rotations. So my thumb is up. I'm going to go up. I'm going to go into half knee, so you can turn my palm out and then rotate around. Palm out, rotate around. So I'm getting some internal, external rotation as I do that. And again, try to keep your body as neutral as possible. I started to do that and then rotate back. If you rotate around a little bit, maybe that's not so bad. But try to keep your body out of it. Just work on the glenohumeral joint. So, other side. And obviously you can do the standing, but I'm just getting into the camera. Yeah, this one feels a little different. And this is my shoulder that has a little bit less range of motion, but even just doing that, it feels better. Okay, so what are the benefits of doing range of motion work or joint mobility work? One, we could break up adhesions possibly. 2, we're going to secrete synovial fluid, which lubricates the joint. 3, we're telling the brain that we want to be able to move our joint in all these directions. So the mechanoreceptors communicate with the nervous system to say, hey, it's okay to do this. We're going to move through this range of motion. Whereas it may have forgot, or the brain may have forgotten how to let go because maybe we were injured at one time or whatever, or we had a sore shoulder, and now we're just like, I don't want to go up there, and the brain doesn't want to take you there. This reestablishes, like, okay, it's okay to go there. Okay, so we're manipulating the nervous system that way. All right. So that was shoulder circumduction. Next is spinal rotation. This one I would probably sit and do this one because we want to fix the pelvis or the hips, keep them in place. So all I'm going to do is sit on a chair, and then you can do it this way. That way you can kind of assess. We're just going to rotate, or you can do it this way, prisoner style. And then obviously you guys know the rotations that we do in class. Okay, so those are T-spine, especially rotations. Now you can also get a prop to help you with this. I also like to do them this way. I'll stand, I'll get a little more rotation at the hip. Okay, so there's that as well. Okay. All right, so the next one, we're going down the spine. We want to work on lumbar spine, and I'm not going to rotate them so much. Mostly it's going to be about flexion and extension. All we want to do is place our hands on our thighs and then flex and extend. Okay, now we know I've tested this on a few of our people, our peeps, some of my clients, and we've come to the conclusion that that exercise isn't that great for us. So in some cases that may not be appropriate for you. So if you had a disc problem or an injury, any spinal problem, then we might have to not do that one, or really reduce range of motion. Okay. And if we don't know if that is okay to do, then we should go see our medical doctor and check with them and see if that's okay. All right. So next is, again, it's going to kind of work at the lumbar spine as well. These are pelvic tilts, anterior, posterior, so front to back, and then lateral side to side. And then we'll do a combination of all those movements. Kind of like the scapular movement, we're going to do the same thing at the pelvis. This one here, I'm going to do it from this side because you'll see it better in it. It's going to look kind of silly, but so I'm tucking the tailbone under, trying to stay tall. So that's a posterior tilt. It rounds the lower back. There's the anterior tilt. What's really interesting is if you've had some low back pain, you might not be able to move that as well. Not because of pain, but it's almost like your body forgot how to do it, which can actually happen. So, or there's stiffness there, obviously. So stay in a pain-free range of motion. I was doing these yesterday. I noticed that I kind of lost the ability to do this really well. So, okay, so that's anterior, posterior. Lateral is a little bit harder. It kind of looks like a hula. So I'm using these muscles right back here to hike this hip up towards my armpit. Then you're gonna see that the knees will bend a little bit. So I recommend just kind of breaking this thing up and doing a few of each, and then you add it all together, and then it kind of looks like a hula dance. I know, I look funny, but anyway, practice that. That's important. Okay, next is hip circles. And hip circles, we're just going to have our hands on the pelvis, and then I'm going to draw a circle with my whole hip. So I'm going to go lateral, push back. Notice I'm hinging as well. I'm going to go the other side and then push forward. And then for me right now, I can feel a little tension in my inner thighs, especially on my left side. That tends to be the tighter side. I can feel my hamstrings are a little tense, but I would do both directions. Okay. All right. So, and you'll be able to feel mobilization happen at the hip as well. There's other more specific ones that'll come later. Okay. Next is a simple knee circle. If you had a knee problem, you probably shouldn't do this, but you can just draw little circles, real small ones. If you have really healthy knees, maybe a little bit bigger. And then I would go both directions. Okay, and then last but not least is ankle circles. I want to use the wall for balance, and then I'm just going to draw a circle with my big toe, both directions, and then same on the other side. All right, you guys, that's your joint mobility circuit number 1. I'll do some more different stuff, but hope you enjoy this. Practice this. If you take 10 minutes every day, 15 minutes every day, or on your days off, maybe work on this. Yeah, definitely, you'll feel a lot better. Even just doing this, I felt better. So speaking of that, let's check my shoulder mobility. I want to lower you down. You guys still with me? All right, that was crazy. I am not going to edit this out. We're just going to run with it. Okay. This does not like that for some reason. Okay, here we go. That's great. You get to see all the mistakes I made. All right. So range of motion. Here's my right side. Yeah, that was pretty easy. Maybe my rib cage isn't compensating as much. I'm not extending through the thoracic spine. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Now let's see what left side does. Yeah, it's easier to get there. Less pain, not as much pain. Still there though, but I just did a handful of joint shoulder rotations, right, or circumduction. So that kind of also shows you how valuable and how good these things are for your body. Again, stay out of pain. There's a little bit there, you might work through it, but just be careful. You'll know what is not right for you. Okay? All right. See you guys later. Have a great week.